All right. How's it going, everybody? Welcome to another session with the Investment Dominator. And today's session is going to be our Advanced Thursday call. And we're specifically going to be doing a hour-long Q&A. And I hope you came prepared with some questions. So what we're going to do first is break down some of our backlog questions if we have any, and then we'll go ahead and proceed with the rest of the call. But again, my name is Dominic. I work as IT support, and really, answering your tickets and also doing these calls is really what we're doing to be able to provide you guys with some extra resources besides just the Investment Dominator. So with that being said, you'll see on your screen right now uh, an option for you to go ahead and join with your computer audio since we did switch over to Ring Central webinars. So for example, if you're hearing my chat, or sorry, if you're hearing my audio well, go ahead and just comment in the chat, hello. And it looks like we did have some hellos already, which is great. So you'll see here that there are a couple different options, especially if you are new to really exploring and using Ring Central. So for example, you'll see on the right-hand side, there's a Q&A option, there's a chat option, and also a raise your hand option. You don't really have to worry about raising your hand too much, as I have another window with just the chat options open up. So I'll go ahead and see all of your comments whenever you go ahead and write them. And with that being said, just keep in mind that all these sessions are going to be recorded, and we could actually start off by showing you how you can review the past live sessions that we have had. So you'll also see just some options. So the Q&A options, if you do want to ask a question live onto the stream for me to go ahead and use during our discussion, go ahead and actually click on the Q&A option and just submit your question, and I'll go ahead and review that when we're going through this. So actually, before we go into our LPG deal flow, I'm going to go ahead and open up a poll, a new feature when using Ring Central. And it's really just helpful for me to understand exactly where everybody on the call is coming from. So you'll see two questions pop up on your screen right now. The first one being just, are you new to the Investment Dominator? And especially one of these Thursday calls. And also, if you would like to see a feature primarily discussed onto this call, we do have some options there. So for example, you can choose custom themes, custom documents, as well as recent updates and latest integrations. So that poll is up and live now. Go ahead and wait a little bit to be able to gather some results, and then we'll take it from there. But let's go ahead and start with the LPG deal flow. So you'll see right at the top, we go ahead and start with our first goal to be able to go ahead and select a target market. Now, once we're done getting that target market, we'll then be able to get a list of landowners, which we will then filter through depending on county or any other specific criteria that we're working with. Next, you'll be able to go ahead and actually mail letters to that list of that filtered list of landowners, so you can begin to talk to sellers. Then afterwards, you'll see that you can do your preliminary research, really start digging and getting some results so that you can mail your offers and maybe even do some option agreements. Along with that, you'll then next proceed to open escrow, where you'll do even more research so that you can go ahead and be able to market your property, which is the next step, with or without owner financing. And really that last end goal that everybody is trying to achieve is being able to go ahead and then sell the property and get paid. Now, being able to sell that property, it will be listed onto your selling site. So just keep that in mind as well. So just carrying on with the rest that we have here. So the information on the left-hand side you're going to see includes your company information, county data information, as well as offer requests, whether that be through by phone or by website, as well as some property details and tasks. You'll see some additional information which you can provide to the Investment Dominator, such as transaction information or even lead tracking information. So all of this is coming from you and it's being put into the Investment Dominator. And what you're able to then output are some great features. So for example, you'll be able to output your letters and offers, as well as websites and even calculators and tools. You'll also see that once you really start working through with the Investment Dominator, you'll be able to then generate some analytics and even be able to add some additional team members to help and alleviate some of the processes with the Investment Dominator. So as always, just something that we do want to recommend, right as soon as the stream will close, you'll see that an Investment Dominator survey link will go ahead and pop up in your browser. If you do have some time, go ahead and actually check this out, because we really do appreciate it, and we really do take the feedback that we get from these survey results to be able to really implement them into the Investment Dominator. It'll go ahead and ask for your name as well as your account email address associated with the Investment Dominator. Along with that, it'll just go ahead and then begin to ask you some questions. So if you do have some time, go ahead and fill out that survey. And I'm going to, this is the last slide that we have here. I'm gonna go ahead and end the polling that we were doing. And let's see, so first question, are you new to the Investment Dominator? We kind of got split results there. So always good to have new and previous members already using the Investment Dominator. And some topics that we would want to discuss today, let's see, we have custom themes as well as the latest integrations. So I'll go ahead and just write those down right now for reference, and we'll just keep that going. So I would like to go ahead and process some of the backlog questions that we have here. And it looks like not a lot of backlog questions, but just one that could be helpful to a lot of people just curious about the Investment Dominator. So the question really goes along and says, where do we find information about new system updates regarding the Investment Dominator? Now, keep in mind, we really do update the Investment Dominator quite a lot. And to be able to kind of keep up with these changes, you're going to want to be accustomed to our user guide, number one. And then you want to be familiar with how you can actually search for new updates. So let's go ahead and just take this example and kind of go with it. So for example, we'll go ahead here to the Help tab, and right there we'll see User Guide. Let's go ahead and click onto that. Now, when you're searching our user guide, you do have a couple of options. So for example, you can use the keyword for update, but in this case, we do have one filter option up here, and it's just called What's New. So this is going to be a tab that you review really whenever there's a big system update to the Investment Dominator that kind of changes the menus around and changes where things are located, or maybe even updates a previous feature that was already done within the Investment Dominator. So for example, clicking on the What's New, we'll go ahead and see the latest update was in December, and just keeping in mind that this was the menu options that we went ahead and had, as well as updates to our phone validation, which really required us not to put any characters other than our phone number required for that. And then over here, you'll just see the previous updates which you've done, which include more of our integrations. And we can dive into that in just a little bit, but I want to show you something else. So for example, if you come over here to the user guide search bar and you type in the keyword system update, just like that, you'll see that the first article that comes up is this article called System Updates and Roadmap. If you go ahead and click on this, what you're going to see is number one, our system updates and roadmap. And really the roadmap is our planned updates that we have for the Investment Dominator. So for example, everything that we're currently working on in no particular order, but we really are trying to implement these to be able to improve the existing services with the Investment Dominator. So for example, some options that you'll see here are a new buying site and selling site theme options. We have property owner management screens, as well as system setup wizards. We have a new merge records update, which is coming soon, as well as some other additional tasks here as well. So if you scroll down besides that, what you're going to see is a recent list of updates that were made to the Investment Dominator. Now, given that everybody has their normal processes, with the Investment Dominator, when there's an update that comes out, you might not be aware of what the exact changes were and how it affects your process when using the Investment Dominator. So I recommend maybe, like once a month, just kind of reviewing this to be able to see if there was any updates and if they would pertain to you. For example, you'll notice that anything in black will go ahead and be fixes that we went ahead and done to the Investment Dominator. And then we have this teal color here listed with update as well, where anytime we go ahead and make an update to the Investment Dominator, which affects the screens that you're viewing. So go ahead and check this out if you've never seen it before, just to be able to kind of see the updates that are being made and how it is affecting really your process when you're involved with the Investment Dominator. So that'll go ahead and cover that. And one thing that I would like to also kind of throw in there when we're talking about system updates is this known issues over here too. So anytime there is a known issue with the Investment Dominator, which is affecting multiple users, we'll go ahead and list that under known issues. And you'll just see here that currently there aren't any known issues which are really affecting multiple users, but just keep in mind of that as well. But all right, so now we'll go ahead and just kind of break down any questions that you guys would have. And again, for some new people joining us here today, go ahead and just leave this screen open for as to how you can submit those questions. Just go ahead and hit that Q&A option right there. But all right. So now when we're diving into the Investment Dominator and we're speaking about updates, one thing that I would like to inform you guys on is really our update that we made to Zapier article. And if you go ahead and I believe if we type in Zapier, we should be able to see the article that was here. So the article is this one right here. And if you're actually not even familiar with Zapier or what I'm talking about right now, this will be a good kind of introduction into it. So to put it as simple as possible, basically we are integrating the Investment Dominator with this service called Zapier. And what Zapier does is it basically provides a no-code solution so that you can perform and automate tasks within your Investment Dominator. So, just to kind of simplify that even more, basically from connecting the Investment Dominator to the service called Zapier, we're then able to automate some tasks within the Investment Dominator, which could be done manually, but if we have something automatically that does it, it really goes a long way in simplifying the process. So what I will say about this article here, this one will involve a more of a premium membership to be able to get the exact functionality of the Zap that we have here. But because some premium features are involved with this, another premium feature that we do have access to is actually being able to share the exact Zap that we're working with. So for example, we have a link here. I'll go ahead and open this in a new tab. This will go ahead and actually let you use our Zap to be able to automate this task. And you'll see, we have all these separate automations which need to be done. And that's why it does involve that premium membership. But you'll see here that you can try this Zap for about 14 days, as well as even view a little video here on how Zapier works. And it'll just kind of give you some information here. So for example, it only takes about 8 minutes to set up and you get back all this time from automating this task. And what I can say is that, depending really on the feedback that we're getting a lot from using Zapier and being able to automate some processes, we are expanding our capacity to be able to use more apps. So for example, Stefan just has a question about Does it work for Microsoft Outlook as well? So, we can add that to the list, but currently we wouldn't have that option. But you can kind of really just see and play around if you did want to try this yourself to be able to add Microsoft Outlook and then follow the same steps and see if it gets you somewhere. But you can always submit questions about this regards to working with your Zap, as well as if you have any trouble connecting it along the way. We're always happy to really help with this, especially. So you'll see here just kind of breaking down what we're doing. So we're saying, well, actually, it might help if we go back into the article and explain this a little bit more. So first, you're going to see here just more along the lines of what is Zapier. And next, what is Google Task? So basically what we want to go ahead and do is automate a feature within the Investment Dominator. So anytime we have a record in the Investment Dominator and it gets updated to an appropriate status, what we want to do is go ahead and then create a new task list that attaches to that record that's being updated. So a lot of information here. I recommend just kind of going through this, but I'm going to review it for you now just so that you can get kind of like a big picture. But basically what you're going to do step by step, and again, you did see that trial there. You can, I believe you have a lot of options for free Zaps before you get into that premium space, but I really recommend checking out the rest of our guides to be able to see if this is something that would help your business really alleviate some of that extra work. So for example, first we'll go ahead and select just the record that we're working with, and then we'll want to go ahead and properly link to the Investment Dominator. And we have, the exact screenshots as to how you get the keys that work with your Investment Dominator and how you can go ahead and set this up. And then we'll go ahead and get to the juicy part. So, setting up the Zap trigger. So basically what we're doing here is we're selecting the record type that we're working with, and that record type includes land deal. And we're then looking for the record status. So this Zap is what it's called. This Zap will go ahead and trigger when a record enters the land deal record type, as well as the record status for open escrow and detailed research. So with that, then you'll see that the next thing that we have to do is go ahead and set up the functionality for Google Task. So that really just involves signing into your Google account so that you can actually go ahead and populate your app live. And then what you're going to want to do afterwards is then be able to actually set up the action within Google Task. So it'll go ahead and ask you here. So for example, the list title that we're working with. And basically what we're doing is we're taking this land purchase due diligence checklist, which is already a part that's involved with the Investment Dominator. But instead of having to review the document and come back and review the document and come back, what we're going to do is actually automate this part of the Investment Dominator. So we're going to go ahead and select our title, and our title for this is going to be land purchase, like we said, due diligence checklist. We're going to then do a dash and do property ID. Then, as you'll see here, there's an option where you can actually insert data directly coming from the Investment Dominator. So this is a great feature when working with Zapier. So basically, think about it like merge fields. You're basically taking merge fields from the Investment Dominator and you're using them to help you create your Zap. So we have property ID here, but we won't actually have the real property ID number because it's going to be created once that record gets moved. So what we want to do is find that record, take the ID number here and actually populate it within the list title. So that'll go ahead and just allow us to see right here, once the first Zap that we're doing is creating the task list. So you'll see here, this is how it looks in Google Tasks. So we'll have the property ID with the following actual ID from the Investment Dominator. So, you can actually practice this first step in creating this initial Zap right here without having to have any premium membership. But the rest of the tasks that are created afterwards, you would need to go ahead and do. So again, just kind of going into this more, what you're going to see next is that what we're doing is adding these individual tasks to go ahead and populate within Google Tasks. So we basically want to take this automation and we're going to do the work so that once we finish the initial setup of the Zap, we don't have to work on this again, and we could actually automate this whole process to begin with. So you'll see next, we're going ahead and we're actually attaching all of the task details that we have in regards to our due diligence checklist. And we're going ahead and we're adding the custom ID that comes from Google Tasks. So this is basically going to allow us to update the new task that gets created. And once that's done, then we have access to the rest of the functions. So basically, what you're going to see here is that we select the task list and we use the custom ID that's coming from Google Tasks. So then we can create our first item on the due diligence checklist, which is the market value. And you'll see here under notes, you'll go ahead and write down all the notes. What I did was basically just copy and pasted from the due diligence checklist. And again, if you wanted to go ahead and just review that, you come back to that link that we were talking about earlier. This shows you all the steps that I've already done. And all you basically do is just copy it, edit the details, make sure that everything is set up properly, and this will be completed. But let's go back here. So basically what we're doing is we're creating this due diligence checklist. And let's say if we have another team member that actually handles this part of our process. So essentially, if you give them that Google task and you tell them, all right, when a record gets updated, it'll go ahead and populate here, and then you'll have to go ahead and follow through the 11-step process or 12-step process of the due diligence checklist. So, and then once they're done, they can go ahead and check and verify. And just to keep track, you could always find that property ID number right at the top. So, so really, I know that was a lot being thrown at you, especially if you haven't heard of Zapier before. But we do have some previous calls which kind of go over this, which you can review on our I believe it's the Q&A option within the help guide, but really just try to understand high level now that Zapier is something that gets integrated with your Investment Dominator so that you can alleviate yourself a lot of the extra work that you would normally be doing with automation. So hopefully, you did learn something from that. And just coming back here, we do have some other additional services too. So I'll just bring them up right now, for example. So we have the Google Tasks one, which was the new one created. We have another service, MailChimp here, as well as Google Sheets and Investment Dominator to Ring Central, as well as DocuSign and e-signatures and GetResponse. So for example, all of these articles will go ahead and walk you through one of our chosen options to be able to kind of help through with the process of the Investment Dominator. But once you really start to get to understand, what can be done and what type of functionality can be implemented, the world is your oyster to be able to, be able to see if you can automate it differently, or if you can maybe find another service that you can actually pair with, or especially if you do have another service already in your business and you're really just thinking like, how can I improve this existing service and how can I improve the workflow for my team? Really, the possibilities are endless. And, like I had mentioned before, just really coming with any questions or anything like that to the ID support, we'll be more than happy to go ahead and help with that. But I did go ahead and mention just the previous live Q&A calls, and we'll go ahead and see. So right now we're back under our browse user guide option right here. If we go ahead and scroll down, there's this second tab. The last item that we have here is our live training and Q&A calls. If you scroll down, you go ahead and see our last call right here on 127, 124. So we have all of these updated now for you to go ahead and review the past sessions that we've had. And what I can really say is if you go ahead and click on them, what you're going to see is just a little, uh, what do they call it? A timeline, I guess I would say. And what you're going to do is basically review, number one, if you want a Thursday call, if you want a Monday call. And this is a Thursday call, so you'll just see questions answered on this call. And you'll go ahead and see the timestamps provided by the question that was asked, or really what we're talking about and what was gone over. If you go ahead and take this video here, for instance, what you'll see is that you are able to click on it, and this links directly to our YouTube channel. So definitely recommend just checking out the channel in general, but what you'll see is that you'll follow the timestamps that we have here and just go to the exact point in the video, and you'll go ahead and see that updated. So we do have, actually, let me go into just the Monday calls real quick before we process this next question. But you'll notice that on a Monday call, you'll see something similar to this. So for example, we talk about our big three, and we give the timestamps for all the big three sections that we're talking about, as well as the after questions that come after our Monday calls. So that's really how you tell, if you didn't want to just go by dates and opening up a calendar, if you wanted a Monday or Thursday call, that's really the big separator there. But it is the same exact process of being able to take the timestamps and then look up the appropriate times within the video. All right, so yeah, like I did mention, we did have a question here from Stefan. So Stefan's just mainly asking, how long does it take for the live call to be uploaded to the user guide? What I will say is that it'll probably take about a week to 2 weeks, really depending on the workload of everything else. But these last ones that I updated, I know we had a lot of people that were asking about that, so made sure we got all of those updated. But I would say about like a week out, we would have the videos uploaded. But yeah, so we're doing a lot of improvements to the Investment Dominator, and as always, just make sure that you go ahead and check out any of the available sections that we're seeing here. So let's see. Going into our survey, we did get a question along the lines of, well, not question, but we did get a feature that we would like to see, which is custom themes. So I want to go ahead and talk about this for just a little bit. And what we'll go ahead and do is, let's see, let's go ahead and check out both of the theme options that we can do for our buying and our selling site. So for example, let's go ahead here and let's type in buying site. And what we're going to see is a couple articles here that really pertain to our buying site as well as the customization. So the one that we're going to be clicking on and the one that we're going to review right now is this create your own custom buying site theme. So I just want to break this down first before we kind of go into the options of what we can import into the Investment Dominator. But what you're going to see here are basically all of our theme options that we have, our custom theme options. But as well as the rest of the article, you're also going to see that there are people that you can hire to be able to go ahead and develop you a custom theme. So for example, if you don't like any of the options that we have for the buying site as well as the selling site, just keep in mind that we really are working to go ahead and implement some, well, a lot of theme options for you guys. It's just taking a little bit of time. But if you did want to go ahead and go that route, we do have some recommendations here, for example, from Fiverr.com or from Upwork.com. And essentially what you would be doing or looking for is a front-end developer to be able to go ahead, or a HTML and CSS developer to go ahead and be able to create these themes. These themes are just basically code that are being packed into our site so that they can properly register all of these theme options like you'll see here. So if we scroll down, there's a couple things that the article goes into. For example, if you are technical enough to be able to break this down by yourself, you would actually create all these files and, create your own theme. But we understand that there is a large audience that is really non-technical working with the Investment Dominator, which is perfectly fine. Basically, what you would go ahead and do is send this information to your HTML and CSS developer so that they can get a reference of really how to go ahead and create this theme. And you'll see here more that then you'll just want to go ahead and compress your theme and then upload it within the Investment Dominator. So let's go ahead. Oh, wait, also merge fields. So pertaining to really populating information on your custom theme that you have and being able to pull that information from the Investment Dominator. You'll see here, for example, we have merge fields like you've seen when creating custom documents. You would basically use the same, or they're different, but you would use these merge fields to be able to go ahead and populate some of that information. And yeah, so like we were saying, we do have these theme options here. So we have 4 theme options for our buying site. So this is teal profits, dark blue right here. I believe this one's red black, and this one is land gen. So I actually have all of these already uploaded into my Investment Dominator, but let me show you a quick example as to how you can do this yourself. So for example, you'll go ahead and choose one of the themes here that you want to work with. So let's choose this dark blue one here. Go ahead and click onto download or just click the image. And we'll come back to our Investment Dominator. And the first thing that you want to go ahead and do is actually come to customize. And what I'll do now is go to buying site settings. Oh, whoops. I think I clicked the wrong thing by accident. Buying site settings. And what we'll see here is our theme options that we can go ahead and work through with. So we'll first see, the legacy option, the default option that we have, and the 2.0 option that we have as well, which can be chosen. And one thing you want to keep in mind is this blue hover that shows up right after we select a theme. You just want to keep in mind of this so that you're aware of what the current theme is that you're using. And for right now, I'm going to go ahead and delete this version of the, I believe it's called Blue Ocean. I was calling it dark blue. But I'll go ahead and delete this one, and then I'll show you how exactly you can upload them. So we'll see here, select your buying site theme. You'll see that gray option that we saw previously, which was over here, just how you upload your theme. And if you did notice, I didn't move my download anywhere, so my download shows up here at the bottom of my taskbar. I'm using Google Chrome, but I'm just going to leave it there right now so that I know that I have something there. And I'll go ahead and click onto custom theme. And this is going to pop up a window on your computer, just basically showing you where you want to go ahead and pick up your file. And what I like to do is actually go to downloads, my downloads folder. And because I didn't move it anywhere, then I could actually just pick it directly from my downloads. And I'll say open, and you'll just get that little prompt message that it's uploading, and then your theme was uploaded correctly. Clicking onto OK, the next step that you have to remember. So for example, when you're uploading your theme, it's not going to automatically pre-select your theme. It's actually going to leave you on the last option that you have there. So let's say that I want to go ahead and see this Blue Ocean one. So I'll click on it and I'll scroll all the way down, and I'll click on Update Site, and I'll also close this. And then to be able to verify it, we'll go to websites and we'll go to buying site. And we'll see that our Blue Ocean theme does properly show up here. All right, and just kind of giving you a quick overview of the rest of the options that you can pick. This is going to be the red-black option that you can see. Let's go ahead, do the same process, updating site, going back to buying site. So this is red-black. You'll see that there. And then another option, let's do the land gen option, which happens to be my favorite. Go ahead and scroll down, and we'll update site. And this will go ahead and be the last one that we'll review. So you can see sometimes, especially with this land gen one, it really does change up the the normal flow of the site and really adds in a lot of great resources as well as a sample buying site video. Since some users do like to have visuals to be able to really simplify the process, as well as, you know, a little infographic here. You can also customize these fields up top as well. Yeah, that'll go ahead and walk you through some of the buying site themes. And as far as it goes, I'll do just a quick overview of the selling site theme. So, you know, keep in mind everything that I said about being able to create your own theme as well as get another developer, because this does also, it's involved with our selling site theme. So I'm going ahead here, just typing in selling site, and you'll see the article over here, the last one at the end of the row. And this one is going to just be create your own custom opt-in page or selling site theme. So we do only have one example for this one right now, which is our, I forgot the name. I forgot if it was Teal Profits, I believe it's called. But we'll come over here back to our website settings selling, and we'll see, if we scroll down, we'll go ahead and see the updates here. So for example, I'll do that same process of being able to upload your theme, and then we'll go ahead and select it here. Let's go back to update our site. And we'll look at our selling site by going to websites. We could review the opt-in page as well as the selling site too. Let's go ahead and see that. So our opt-in page, we'll see nice setup. It's even got a map and all the properties that we do have for sale already there. So, you know, that's great, as well as some additional information here for users to go ahead and sign up. So yeah, so those are our custom theme options that we do have. And kind of the last topic that we did have for our opening survey was more about integrations. So, you know, integrations really get me excited with the Investment Dominator, just because of the possibilities, really. And you know, if that does get you excited, you can come over here to our user guide. We do have more integrations involved with the Investment Dominator. So you can actually just type in integrations into the search bar, or you could come here to this main menu for the user guide. And if you ever wanted to know how you come back to this main menu, because most of the time I am in specific articles, you can actually just click onto the article and just click on this button right here to bring you back to the main dashboard here. So yeah, so click on to integrations and we'll see all of the integration articles that are pertaining to the Investment Dominator. Also, a great way to kind of be able to review this, I actually prefer going to what's new and then looking at all the updates here. So for example, if we scroll down, we see our integration with data tree and being able to import records directly from the county directly into your Investment Dominator. And then scrolling down, we have our REI Printmail integration. And what I've seen a lot of students do is, you know, they get both. And the first one is just being able to automatically import the data into the Investment Dominator. So once that part is really done, then the next thing that you have to do is send it to the mail house. And really, that's what sparked the creation of this integration with REI Printmail. So now that you've imported records directly into your Investment Dominator, you'll then be able to send them directly to the mail house from your Investment Dominator. So that'll go ahead and cover both of those processes. So, you know, it really alleviates a lot of the time that you're using either, you know, troubleshooting a list or being able to just kind of continue on with your workflow. And then aside from that, if you're, you know, into that process of your Investment Dominator where you are working with really active loans and you're looking for more owner financing with your land buyers, then you would actually want to go ahead and look into this process that we have here, our new Actum automated ACH feature, which you'll see here. And really, this is a great way to go ahead and set up automatic payments for your financing, for your owner financing, for your land buyers. So, you know, we have a lot of these, and if you actually, like I said, you click up here to the what's new and you're seeing exactly what's on my screen now. If you click on one of these integrations, instead of actually being brought to one article, you're going to see that this is a gateway article. And what I mean by that is when you click onto the article, it'll go ahead and review all of the information which you need. But at the bottom, it will link you to all the articles that, number one, are needed to start the service. So how to enable the integration. Then next, how to go ahead and work through with the integration. So this one here, the REI Printmail integration, it involves really signing up for the integration, as well as then next being able to generate that campaign for you to work with. Now, what I will say to those new and existing users that we do have on this call, always go ahead and review the FAQ options before you go ahead and work through with an integration. A lot of the FAQs are questions that come up primarily from new users when using the REI Printmail integration. And what we basically do is take the most popular questions that we get and populate them as a FAQ. So for example, you'll see things like, what is required, and if you needed an account prior, or if you need to create an account when you first sign up with the integration, exactly who do you go for troubleshooting regarding anything with an order, or how to even see your order being processed within the Investment Dominator. So there's a lot of information here that you will need to go ahead and review just to make sure that, number one, it's a good fit for your business, as well as a cost viable solution for you as well. So also, we'll take a look at one more here. So we have the new outside data service integration, otherwise known as data tree. And clicking on this, again, we're hitting that gateway article, and you get that 3 articles here. So for example, how to enable, how to generate criteria, and then the FAQ. This is one where we do have a lot of FAQs to be able to kind of break down and simplify exactly what you're working with, as well as any kind of specific options that you need to be aware of before you start using the integration, or how you can upgrade your integration, or even be able to really use it or get specific criteria from it. So definitely recommend checking that out if you are interested into some more of our integrations. And, as always, too, part of that does involve the Zapier integrations as well, too, that we were talking about earlier. But all right, so next, I want to go ahead and walk through an example of being able to edit images within a document. So this is a more of a general kind of approach. But I just want to go ahead and show the possibilities that you can do when working with images. This can be either affecting a custom page that you created, or let's say if you're adding a logo to a custom document or something of that sort. So let's kind of explore the options and see what exactly we can do with our images, and being able to really amplify either a letter with a logo, or maybe a separate page that we created for the buying site, for example. Let's go ahead and go to, we're going to go ahead to custom documents. And I believe we have one here that I can work with. Let's do, well, let's actually edit this one that I have here. So this is a custom document with the logo option that I do have here. And there's a couple of different ways, number one, that you can go ahead and review this. We did a session like this on last week as well, just kind of explaining more about the logo. But specifically what I want to talk about today is how you manipulate this image even more. So you'll see here, I'm going to remove my buying logos that we have here as a merge field. And instead, I just have my regular image here. So there are a couple of different options for ways that you can, number one, import an image, as well as how you can manipulate it. So I'm actually going to remove this here. And what I'm going to do is show you how you can import an image directly into, let's say, a custom document. So we'll go ahead and do that. And what we're going to use is this image function right here. And we're going to click onto the image. And what you're going to see is that, we'll come up to this screen. And if you're non-technical and you're not really familiar with anything that you're seeing right now, what I can say is just ignore this for right now. And you just want to come over here under image properties and click onto upload. And the first thing that we're going to do is actually choose our image that we're working with and then send it to the server. So right when you click that, it'll go ahead and ask you to choose the file, and you'll have to find the logo that you're working with that you want to import. I have this one here. Let's use this green one here. And once you choose it, you'll also then need to go ahead and send it to the server. So once you send it to the server, you'll see a live preview of this here, as well as how this will be formatting your direct text for your document. Now just keep in mind that this is preview text, so this is just going to show you how it'll look. But for example, if we start playing around with the width, we do have an option to go ahead and change exactly how this will pop up and how much space it'll take. And you'll see here that when I go ahead and update this, it'll automatically update my height. You are able to really lock, what you're working with, and you can unlock it as well. So when I unlock it, as you saw, then now when I change, one of the values that we have here, the previous one won't change. So I could change that to 500. It'll look a little distorted, but we really want to hit that nice range where the image does look good. So for example, if you are having trouble with this and you can't get that right size, make sure you reset your image here, as well as if you do want to lock your ratio, you can do that as well. So again, locking ratio, if I go ahead and try to change my height, let's say 120, then you'll see it automatically updates my width. But let's go ahead and reset the image. So along from that, you do have some more options. So you can add a border to your image, and you'll see that, for example, by typing in a number value. So if you go ahead and type in 5, you'll see a 5-inch border, which should pop up like such, as well as 6 or 8 or whatever number we're working with here. So just keep in mind of that. So let's say that we add a about a 3 border right there, and then headspace is what we have here. So for example, you can add 10, and that'll go ahead and push this over to the right. If you delete that, you'll see that again. Let's go ahead and try 20. That'll go ahead and push our item. And then V-space, so let's go ahead and try 20. So now we have our image, and it allows this little spacing, which is automatically done before we even import our image. And this is something that I really want to highlight, because if you're creating custom deals and you want to go ahead and showcase, let's say there's a specific deal that you're working with and you're saying, buy now or click here or something like that, you'll want to go ahead and add some spacing so that your image will be really popped out and pronounced more. Next, you'll see alignment, and alignment will go ahead and allow the text to justify depending on how you set up this image. Because we added borders, we're not going to really see our alignment as much as we would if we didn't. But really this helps with text wrapping, and if you want your text to really move, to the left, or if you want it not even to be affected by your image, you'll see that there. And especially if you are working with, let's say, creating a custom page onto your buying site or your selling site, one thing you want to keep in mind is this alternative text. I mentioned this on some previous calls. I won't go too into detail about it right now, but basically the best way for you to get visibility for one of your buying or your selling sites is to have this alternative text option added. So for example, for those users who primarily use screen readers and accessibility features, you'll want to go ahead and just alleviate. So for example, you can say buying site logo. And this will go ahead and register also as a keyword, which will improve your search engine optimization. And this is really how Google or whichever search engine you're using will go ahead and rank your site. And if you have more of these accessibility features, then you'll notice that you do rank a little bit higher. So just keep that in mind. But once you're done with your image here, you can go ahead and click onto OK to see exactly live how this will affect your image. As you can see here, since this was a test example, this is probably not going to end up onto my custom neutral letters. So we'll just go ahead and remove that there. But, just working with the image and affecting the properties does go a long way in being able to really communicate with your buyers in a more visual way. All right, hopefully that example did kind of help you get involved and start manipulating the images, but I will show you one more example here. And what we're going to actually go ahead and do is we're going to click on this option here for website pages and posts. And you can go ahead and see I have some pages which we've already have here. Now, what I will say is that you can create a new custom page or a custom post and import this onto one of your web pages for your Investment Dominator for the buying site or for the selling site. So, for example, you can also click onto our preview option here and just see a preview of exactly what page that we're working with. Clicking on that deal option, you'll see that I have this here. So it'll just say 35% off of all lots. And an example like this is also helpful, a property map. This will go ahead and actually generate a property map, which can be used to be able to really showcase the properties that you already have for sale within your system. So this is something that would be really helpful for our selling site. So if we go ahead and close out of this, let's actually use this. Let's say, let's call it something else for right now. Let's say property map February, just so I can keep track of it. And let's go over here to edit. Now we have a ton of articles on, how you can actually edit a custom page. And if you go to your user guide, you'll see here, let's see custom pages. And this will go ahead and show you how you can create a custom blog or just a custom page or a custom post for your website and how you can go ahead and add it. This is the one here that I have already done. So this example will show you how to add an interactive property listing map to a custom selling site page. It basically walks you through the exact step-by-step process that you need to go ahead and do, as well as all the information that you need to go ahead and add. Just keep in mind that these guides are a step-by-step process, and if you do have any trouble with them at all, please reach out to customer support to go ahead and get those solved. But just so you can see some of the settings that I have here, really just includes what website we're talking about. So we're talking about our selling website. If you were doing a custom page for your buying site, you would click on that. But selling. And then we have a load a custom theme option. You can load a custom theme option. Let's say if you're creating a theme for your buying site or creating a custom page for your buying site. And as well as single page. So if you wanted a blog page or a single page, these are some of the options that you have here. And also just make sure that you do set this to public so that you can see the exact visibility of this, as well as page titles. So we just have property map that's here. And again, I'm going to add that little February indicator there so that I know which one it is, as well as the URL. So, simple enough, really. All I've done to create this custom page is actually use the merge field for property listing map. That was really all that was involved. So, if you want to go ahead and try this yourself, all you would go ahead and do, follow the user guide article or even take this example right here. And you'll see right when you get to your page content, what you want to have populate on your page. You'll actually just click on this insert merge field option here, and you would actually click on this one. So property listing map, second item there, and you'll have that go ahead and populate that map. And the only reason why I did have properties showing up is because on my selling site, I do have some properties which are listed as for sale. So that's how you'll get that. Title alert exists on another page. Let's say this one. Try that. If not, we'll just go ahead and hit cancel here. But that was just mainly walking you through how you can go ahead and create that. And then once you have that page created, what you can go ahead and do is head over here to your website settings selling. And if we click on that, the first option that you're going to see here is this manage selling site menu. I'm going to go ahead and switch back to my 2.0 option for this, my theme option. And then let's go ahead and actually change our selling site menu. So let's see if I can find it. It's supposed to be property map. Let's see, property listing. So we have property map here. I'll go ahead and scroll this down and put it onto my header menu option right there. And I'll see property map here. I'll go ahead and drag that down. And what I'm actually doing and what you're seeing here is the header options that we have at the top of our buying and selling websites. Once you create a page or create a post and you put it up here, what you're going to see is that then you'll need to drag that down into your active header menu. Now, when I save this option and we come back here to our websites and we go to selling, what we're going to then see, oh, I don't think I changed my theme option, or I don't think I updated my site when I changed my theme option. Always remember to update your site. We'll click on 2.0 again, we'll update site, and we'll try this one more time. So we'll go to websites and we'll go to selling site. We'll get that new update, and now you'll see that when we created our page, that property map that we were working with, we'll then be able to actually click onto it and we'll see it directly on our selling site menu right there. So at any time we could change any of these information fields which we would need or wouldn't need. For example, if you have houses up here and you want to go ahead and change that, remember what we did. So website settings, selling, go to your manage selling site menu, as you'll see here, and then just take away any information that you don't need. So for example, let's say we don't need this new deal offer available, and we don't need this discount offer available. Those aren't available anymore. Let's go ahead and add, let's say property listing. We could go ahead and add that there. Let's see another field. Let's do contact us instead of the phone number just displaying at the top. And once we're done, we can go ahead and save. Just remember at any time you actually can reset to the default menu, and you won't have to worry about forgetting what you had set before. So we'll see this one more time. Let's go up here to websites and let's go to selling, and we'll now see that we do have our 3 fields now instead of the previous ones that we did. But all right. Great session today, and really, going a long way in being able to interpret some of the questions as well as explore some of the features within the Investment Dominator. And we really, look forward to our next session that we have. And as Stefan had mentioned, it is our quote time. So we do have a quote today, and the quote is from Walt Disney. And I like this quote, and I really want you to keep this in mind when you're thinking about, your journey with the Investment Dominator. And to a lot of people, or to even people that you might have talked to, something like this might seem impossible, but really this quote from Walt Disney helps me get all my ducks in a row. And the quote goes, all our dreams can come true if we have the courage to pursue them. Now you want to keep in mind that there's a lot of different ways that you can really approach life, and really the ones that you stick to are the ones that you're passionate about, and also the ones that you're willing to try and explore new features, and really just think about your business in different perspectives, really being open-minded. And when you're involved with the Investment Dominator, you have a whole world in front of you that you're getting ready to go ahead and journey through. And just being able to understand that you have a support group with you that's willing to support you and push you to be able to hit your goals really does go a long way in building that courage. So you can go ahead and try one of these zaps that we were talking about, try an automation feature. So really you can alleviate some time with the Investment Dominator, maybe even add some logos to your selling site or anything of that sort. Really just being able to push yourself and go out there so that you can really embark on this journey. You'll see that your investments really do go a long way. So with that being said, really appreciate everybody for taking the time to go ahead and spend it with us on this Thursday call. And we'll go ahead and end it here for today. But everybody, go ahead and have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you next time.